Welcome to a special episode of the Okayest Youth Ministry podcast, where we're going to discuss the scariest moments in youth ministry. You know, the reality is that youth ministry can be a really scary landscape at times. And so today we just want to share a few of our stories of moments that we had scary things happen and how we dealt with those. And so I'm going to turn it over to Michael and let you start us off. What is a scary moment that's happened in youth ministry for you?
Okay, so we have a kid who we have this senior high guys retreat. We have it all planned out. We're going, and one of the moms comes to me and she says, "Hey, my son has a broken back." And I was like, okay.
Welcome to the retreat.
I have a broken back. And then she says, are y'all going to be doing like horseback riding or anything where he's going to be like jostled around and stuff? Or like what kind of activities you're going to do? And I said, well, we're probably going to go fishing and like we're going to go swimming out in a creek and a lake and, you know, that kind of stuff. And we're just going to go out in the woods and hike and do some man stuff, you know. And the cabin that we're staying in, I'll just set the scene real quick. The cabin that we're staying in has no power to it whatsoever. We have flashlights. That's the only way that we have light. There's no air conditioning, no heat, no air, nothing. Okay? No power to it whatsoever. It is a roof over our heads, and there's cots set up in there with a little loft. So she tells me his back's broken. We can't do this kind of stuff. And so she said, okay, I think he could go. I think he'd have fun. So fast forward to that night. He goes, we're having a good time. We go fishing. We do some stuff. That night we go to bed, and he decides, I'm going to go up to the loft. You know, it's 2 a.m., maybe 3 a.m., and all of us are asleep. I am on the floor, and in the middle of the night, I hear somebody say, oh, no, please, no, get away, no. And I'm hearing like jostling, and there's stuff going on, and all of a sudden I hear like, doo-doo, boom, and it sounds like a shotgun goes off. All the adults jump up out of bed. We're all freaking out. We can't find a way to get the lights on because there's no light switch. There's no power to this place. And so I just turn on my phone light and I look over, and sure enough, it's the kid whose back is broken laying on the ground. And the first thing he says is, I can't move. That's the first thing he says. I can't move. And that's all. And there we are. He can't move. What do you do? You know, like what do you like?
Back broken, can't move.
Yes. And so eventually he starts moving, and so we're like, oh goodness, thank goodness, you know, we're and so he gets up, and it turns out he was like sleepwalking and fell off the loft. I'm not talking. This is like 12 feet high, and he falls off and just lands on the ground. And when he like we get him up and we like get him shook awake. And he just like wakes up and he's like, where am I? What's going on? What are y'all doing? Why is everybody crowded around me? Oh, why is my hip hurting so bad? And it was because he was just asleep the whole time. Slept through the fall, everything. And that's so awesome. It was great. Crazy. But I was like, okay, it's over. He's he will never walk again. You know, that's what was going through my mind. And I mean, my heart just dropped when he says, I can't move. I was like, oh no, like what are we gonna do? And so, anyways, awesome. All right, Jeremy, I'm gonna set you up real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So obviously, everybody's fear in youth ministry. You're at a major conference. You're at an event, and all of a sudden, a kid is gone. Like a kid's missing. We were in Gatlinburg at a conference, and there's 6,000 to 8,000 people coming out of the conference, and we realized this one young man is gone. We can't find him. He doesn't have a cell phone. We don't know where he is, panic sets in. Now, I will say, let me preface this by saying we did find him. Okay, but when we did, he was found. It wasn't that big a deal, but we had one a couple of years ago at Maywood Camp, where Coleman, one of our young men, Coleman McQuiston, comes like limping across the camp, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And as he gets closer, I see that he's bleeding, and as he gets closer, I see like the inside of his kneecap hanging out, and it's awful. And so turns out, by the way, things that you should know about Maywood. The culverts under the road coming from the lake, the dam side of the lake to the creek, you don't slide out of those as a slide. They're not meant for that. I don't know if you knew
They're
that.
not slides.
They're not slides. They're culverts.
It's a culvert.
And so Coleman had slid out of the
good
culvert,
information.
landed on a rock, and just gashed his leg open, and it was disgusting. So we're in the nurse's hut pulling like shards of rock and gravel and grass and stuff out of his kneecap. Then we carried him to the ER. You know, it's always fun to go to the ER on a youth trip. And I got to watch his older brother carry him like a little baby across the parking lot at the end of the visit. It was very sweet, but scary, man. It's scary. Hunter,
All right, you're up, Hunter. Hold on. I gotta do that. I gotta do the
set
sound.
it up.
I had a great idea one time that we were going to go canoeing on the Buffalo.
Yeah,
Because, we
great
did
time.
it at Freed Hardman.
Yeah,
It's
super
freshmen.
safe.
And I was like, oh, man, that's awesome. So I'm looking at the website, and it's like the options are like 1 mile, 5 miles, and 10 miles.
Sure.
I'm like, 1 mile sounds way too short. We're going to go 5 miles because 10's just not
10's all
doable.
day. Yeah.
All day.
Well, we get there. We're doing 5 miles.
do this all day.
No current whatsoever. And it's hot.
That's terrifying.
It
in
took
itself.
all day for us to go 5 miles on that river.
Oh, my
and it was
goodness.
just miserable. Well, it turns out we get home, and I get a text from one of the parents, and they're explaining to me that they're in the hospital because the kid can't function anymore.
What?
He's just overly dehydrated. Like, he was in the hospital for a couple of days. And I felt so bad.
No.
If there had been any like current, or if like, it had been like a cloudy day, it might have been easier. But like, nothing went our way that day.
Sorry, Hunter, but he can't function.
He's just not doing anything.
That's terrifying.
It was concerning. I think I was still an intern at the time, so like, I don't even know like the legal side of it. Like,
Sure.
What's going on. I didn't really have a youth minister that I worked with, so it's
Sure.
just me.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't
It's just
blame
me
him.
out here.
Like, it was my idea to go 5 miles instead of 1 mile. So just anyone listening, 1 mile is plenty.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So when the bad thing happens, the scary thing happens, you're on a trip, something goes awry, a kid falls out of a loft, a kid gashes their leg open, a kid passes out from dehydration, whatever, okay? What do? You're in charge, man.
Number one, you need to have a plan. First off, just have a plan for an emergency. I always take someone who is a nurse or a doctor or something in the medical field. Every trip that I go on, I try to have somebody. If I don't have somebody, honestly, I depend on my wife because she went to nursing school and she kind of did that. She's not a nurse right now, but she went to nursing school, so she can kind of deal with some of that stuff. But man, I always have some kind of plan. There needs to be a plan. Make sure you have your forms ready. Make sure you have medical, know where the nearest hospital is. 99.9% of the time, I have never had to know where a hospital was. There was one time, girl had an allergic reaction to something, had to take her to the ER. And then there was another time, girl was playing, she was running, and she tripped, fell, cut her leg open, kind of like Coleman, and had to go get stitches. Know where the nearest hospital is, or doctor's office, or whatever, and have a plan for if something does mess up. So that's my advice.
Yeah, I think you have a plan what to do. You also got to communicate out what to people. So, we had a situation happen on a trip this last year where something went wrong and it was a bad situation, and I had to begin communicating to families so that they're not hearing this, secondhand or hearsay or whatever. Communicating to families, hey, this scary thing happened, right?
Yeah,
your kids experienced this scary moment, and here's how we're going to respond.
I had to call that kid's mom and say, hey, your son had a broken back. He fell out of a 12-foot loft. And the first things he said was, I can't move. And she said, I'm not joking. She said, he'll be all right. And then we just moved on.
Well, she also let her kid with a broken back go to a retreat.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah. Hey, props. She was awesome.
Just having the contact information, especially like when you're on a bus trip, everyone that's on the bus, have their information, have their parents' information.
Yep.
Make sure somebody else other than you has that information. When you leave the office to go to CYC or EYC or any of these other events, have a list and give that list to the secretary or the preacher of, hey, this is who all is there. And also have a vehicle to go with you. That way, if you're on the bus, if you're on Jeremy's giant 50-person passenger bus, you have a vehicle that can just go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I hope that you all enjoyed this spooky Halloween episode. Hold on, I gotta do the sound again. We just want to do this for fun. This is kind of a little bonus episode that we're going to release Halloween morning, and so we're really grateful for our audience. Hope that this has blessed you in some way. Maybe it gave you a funny laugh, or maybe it made you reminisce about some of the spooky youth ministry moments that you had. Do you have anything you want to say before we close out?
Man, I'm just ready to go trick-or-treating with my kids, and I'm fired up about it.
I'm excited for the dad tax.
Oh yeah.
So-
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah,
dad tax.
give me that candy.
It's a phantom tax now, right? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? But yeah, I'm actually going to go be trick or treating with my kids, like in a neighborhood.
Yeah,
tonight.
There's a neighborhood in Coleman that goes all out, like over the top, and it feels like I look forward to it we used to do the thing where you run around to all the family houses, and it's exhausting. You don't really enjoy it,
and you get like 3 pieces of candy.
We go to one neighborhood now, and our kids just walk this neighborhood. It's an incredible thing. It feels like we're in a Halloween, fall movie, like old times before the world was dumb. And we go all, it's just so much fun. We're going to have a blast tonight.
All right. Well, we love you guys. We're praying for you. We hope that this has been a fun episode for you. I'm going to give it one more scream before we close out.
We'll see you at M2Y.
Yeah. See y'all at M2Y. Thanks for joining us today in the important conversation of youth ministry. Go and follow us on Instagram and check out oksyouthministry.com for more information about our upcoming episodes. We'll be dropping a new episode every Wednesday morning, and we look forward to talking with you again next week. And hey, it's okay to be the OKS Youth Minister around, but let's all strive to be just a little bit better.
Once again, we would like to thank the M2Y Conference for sponsoring this episode. We can't wait to see everyone at Heritage Christian University, November 7th through the 10th. Don't forget to stop by our booth and grab a sticker.